How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, your Ginger Jody Geek. Welcome back to the channel for another Saturday Night Live. Now, we haven't done Saturday Night Live for a little while for various reasons, so we've got a packed screen tonight. We've got all of our friends on screen at once. We're starting off with good old James T. Keegan. How are you, James?
Heyo, what's up?
Heyo, indeed. Are you well?
I missed it, man. Saturdays just haven't been the same, you know. So,
How long has it been since we... Is it about 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Something like that?
Close to a month, it feels like.
Something like that, yeah, something like that. Nice to be back. Nice to be back. We've got Luke from Hydra Collectibles. Luke, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, like you guys have already said, glad to be back.
Good stuff, good stuff. Always a pleasure to have you. And we have got, my favourite San Diegan, Guion? I don't know how you say it. Efren, how are you, Efren?
What is going on, Comic Book Familia? You have your two favorite Americans here, so that's all I'm gonna say. You know, Rob is, to me, Rob's number one, though. I got just saying that.
To Triple G too.
Yeah, exactly. Shh! I'm trying to make him forget, man. Nice to see you, Efren, as ever, my friend. And we've got Highland G. How are you, Highland?
Yeah, good. It's great to be here. It's good to see Efren actually on the screen rather than on the other end of a phone. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, doing these roving reporter stuff. Yeah. Always nice to see. And we've got my favourite Canadian, apart from Shatner. Apart from Shatner, obviously. Shatner comes first. Yeah. How are you, Chris? Are you well?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back on, Pete.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. And we have got the man himself. First of all, before we get into it, can I just wish you a very, very happy birthday, Rob? I know it's a bit delayed, but I didn't get an opportunity to... Sorry, I didn't get the chance to send in the video. I had a lot going on, so sadly I didn't get a video to you. But massive happy
appreciate
returns. And Chris, I have to say you did a phenomenal job with that, mate. That was superb. Well done.
Thank you.
Together. Rob, I need to hear you say it because I haven't said it for a while. How are you, sir?
As the number one American, I'm feeling just ducky.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, guys.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
No idea what that means. Is that some kind of sporting?
Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Niners.
Sunday. Very cool. We've got lots to get through, guys, so we're going to crack straight on. I'm going to quickly jump to the chat, see who we've got. We've got good old StreamYard. Thank you for joining. We have got Andrew. Nice to see you, Andrew. Hope you're well. And we've got Bat Dan. Always nice to see you, bud. We've got the main man himself, Fuzzy of the Dunlops. Kings, Queens, Princes and Paupers, how do? And we have got well by lunchtime. Hope you are well, my friend. Hi, Peter. Dad email to say you got the comics. Excellent. I'll pick them up in the next 5 to 7 years. Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Glad we got there. I apologise for taking so long to send them, but I've had a bit going on. We've got Sean, Panels and PowerPoints. Nice to see you, Sean. We've got Sean Hogan. How are you, my friend? We've got Chris Bell. Always nice to see you. What a rogues gallery. Beautiful selection of hair arrangements. Absolutely. Fuzzy, this is going to give me a headache. Imagine trying to corral this lot. It's going to be a challenging show, but we'll get through. Chris, question to Rob and Chris. Is CJ always angry about everything?
Yes, yeah. He's not quite like an American rattlesnake, always in a bad mood, but he's not far off.
like everything, comic journey, his character, 100%.
Cantankerous.
That's the character.
Yeah.
My favourite bit of the show, I think we're talking about Only Slabs, guys. If you haven't seen tonight's episode of Only Slabs, please do check it out, because they had a YouTuber called Seiji on who is hilarious. His channel is amazing. But the best bit, you kind of knew how the show was going to go, where I think, Chris, you asked him what he thought about getting a book signed by one of the creative team, and he's like, I couldn't give a shit. No, I'm not doing it. Bollocks, you know.
Having Bob Layton sign the Devil in a Bottle.
Screw Bob Layton. I'm like, Bob Layton drew the cover. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Screw him. Not interested. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. We've got Wayne. Nice to see you, Wayne. Hope you're well. And we've got Pad Bear. Nice to see you, my friend. And Martin. Thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Receiving them.
Yeah, I think we should arrange this all in order of diminishing hair.
Yeah, we should. I'm going to have to change my YouTube name as well, because Triple G is Ginger Jody Geek. There's not a lot of ginger going on there. I've got a bit of Reed Richards going on. Do you know what
British balding.
Yeah. The F Triple G, the former
balding doesn't start with a G, James.
Yeah, go Triple B. British.
Triple B.
Bitch. Big balding bitch.
Big bollocks Brit. A big bollock to Brit, couldn't it? Anyway, let's move on from that. We have got 17 people watching. Thank you so much, everybody. Please do make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and make sure you check out everybody on screen's channels because they all do great content. Guys, we've got a lot of topics to get through tonight, so I'm not going to come to each of you individually. Just please feel free. If there's stuff you want to talk about or chip in, just shout out and we'll get through it that way, all right? We've got the usual selection of news items and movie reviews and all that kind of jazz. That's where you can find me if you don't know so already. Let's start off. I want to do a little bit about this chap, Carl Weathers, who very, very sadly passed away. I think it was just yesterday, wasn't it? At the age of 75, I believe. 76, is it? Carl Weathers is a mainstream of my childhood. Certainly, he was in a lot of my favourite movies growing up. Just a few of them on screen there. Obviously, Rambo, Predator. I kind of tend to remember him more, silly as it may be, for the Happy Gilmore movie, because he was phenomenal in that. He's also in Toy Story, I believe, wasn't he? Was he in the can't remember the name. Was it Combat Call?
Yeah,
I think.
And Action Jackson always stood out in my head. It's always I always have that line. How do you like your ribs?
Yeah. So just an absolutely tremendous guy. And I mean, we've got a number of big Star Wars fans on screen tonight, so you'll remember him obviously from that.
Most recent,
as well.
yeah.
So very, very sad loss. Very sad loss. So our thoughts go out to his friends and family.
It's tragic because literally just the day before, yesterday, he was announced to be going to Dublin Comic Con, so I would have gone to his panel. I was thinking about getting an autograph and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of mad. Like it's so sudden,
Yeah, it's very, very sad. Very sad. Just going to quickly jump to the comments, guys.
The coroner's report says that Ivan Drago is the suspected.
Is that right?
Of,
Suspected.
yeah.
God, I remember seeing that back in the day. Phenomenal movies. Even everyone, no Simon tonight. Sad face. Yeah, Simon has to build up slowly for a monthly show to just get himself charged ready, And we've got Fuzzy, hands up if you want to talk. Let's have some decorum. Yeah, we should have a buzzer system, shouldn't we? My youth is filled with Carl Weathers. Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely, he's just such an icon. Really, such an icon. Predator, one of his standout roles, I think, for me.
He was he was also an American football player. He played for the Oakland Raiders. I was going to ask Rob.
He was a Raider for a little bit.
Yeah. Rob, you remember?
Yeah.
Rob, you remember seeing him play? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That. So yeah, very, very sad. Okay, guys, let's crack on with a bit of news. Before we do that, just to mention, we will be doing a giveaway halfway through the show. Usual rules apply. I would like you to be subscribed to everybody on screen's channels, please, and stick hashtag. Oh, hang on, I haven't even set the bloody giveaway up yet. We'll do hashtag free comics. Pop it in the chat, and I'll do the giveaway in a little bit. I'll set it up in a second. But before we get on to that, a little bit of news. Sonic 3, we knew it was coming out. There's been a little clip, but it's now been confirmed that Jim Carrey will be back as Robotnik, which has got me very, very excited because I loved him in the last one. A little bit of weird news with the trailer. I don't know if you guys have seen it, that they're claiming the voice of Shadow is
Hayden
Christian. Yeah.
I think that'd be great casting. I'd actually love to see that. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. But I think Jim Carrey is a really important part of like the success of those movies, I think. And he'd announced he was retiring. I think he'd said before he's just not coming back for the third one. So it's great. I'd imagine they just like drove a truck full of money to his front door and said please. And here we go. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm a massive fan of Jim Carrey, I have to say. So this for me is great news. Anybody else excited about this? Anybody a big Sonic fan?
Never seen him.
I like the comics, and I've also like been into like the really old games, like we're talking like Sonic 1 through 3 sort of stuff. I love the classic Sonics. My favorite character though is Shadow. So when I saw him at the very end of the second film, I was already anticipating what's going to kind of come. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the voice kind of plays out, because to be perfectly honest, I don't think the voice lined up that well for Knuckles. It wasn't really what I'm used to that character sounding like.
Was it Idris Elba?
Idris Elba,
He's
yeah. It just didn't quite work for me, and his accent changed a little bit throughout the film as well, so it wasn't quite as good as it could have been. But both films have been good films, especially the first one. So I'm just looking forward to see what this brings.
Yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed both movies. I'm surprised Efren and Rob, take it you've not seen either of them.
Wasn't part of my youth for Sonic. I mean, so I had no desire to go see as an adult a video game movie about a character I never played or knew any backstory on or anything else. So
yeah, I mean, the Sonic bits, like a lot of these things, is just kind of like it's like Easter eggs and little kind of like throwaway type things. You know, you can enjoy the film for what it is. It's just another character comes out of their world into our world and how they look at our world. You know, that's what the movie really is.
Again, as an adult, I had no desire to see what I perceive as a kid's movie referencing video game that I never had any experience playing or any interest in.
Well, that seems a little close-minded to me, Rob, but okay.
Yeah, well, you know, that would be probably one of the nicer things that have been said at me. So, you know, that's fine. You know.
I mean, you know what it means, James, don't you? You realise I'm going to have to start stocking up on blue face paint now.
Absolutely.
Look, I tried it once before in my youth. I watched a couple video game movies that I wasn't into, Mario Brothers, Double Dragon, and they were absolutely awful. So
yeah, well,
God,
it's
I
not
forgot about
1987
Double Dragon.
So
forgot about Double Dragon. Fuzzy's agreeing with you, Rob. Really, I liked Sonic as a kid, but do I need 3 movies? Not really. I think it'll be a fun movie. Chris, have you seen the first?
Now make
one?
me a Pitfall Harry movie, and I'll be right there.
Activision says hello to you, Rob. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I played Sonic when I got my Genesis back when I was a kid, so the nostalgia is there. Like, it was nice to have a character similar to Mario, or like that kind of character that is just the franchise, the face of their franchise, but chasing rings and can do a lot more and was a lot more beautiful to play. But yeah, it sounds like this movie's going all Canadian, like for number 3 with Hayden Christensen and them backloading 50 million up or whatever it is to Jim Carrey's house to drag him out of retirement. But for me, it's nice to see Hayden Christensen getting some work now, because he was basically semi-retired for years and years. And with Disney Plus bringing his Vader back a couple times, I'm glad to see now that he's actually getting work, because I thought he was a decent actor before he played Anakin Skywalker. Life as a House was a great film that he was in with Kevin Kline. But
I think when we saw Hayden Christensen at Star Wars Celebration, the audience just went. I mean, they went wild, didn't they, James?
It was so nice to just see. It was
an emotional moment for him, I think.
Yeah. Especially considering like the vitriol around him, like back doing those movies. It's just amazing to see like how people have embraced him, and I think it means a lot to him as well, which is it's beautiful, So I'm happy just the public perception of him overall is like so positive now. People love him.
Absolutely. Ladies and gents, stick #FreeComics in the chat. I've got that set up now. So put that in and we'll give away some comics in a little bit. So that's #FreeComics. Okay. I know you guys aren't big Thor fans, but I just wanted to mention a little bit of comic book news. This is really, really quite interesting. So any of you been reading the recent Thor run?
Yeah, I have.
It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. But there's this whole thing with the Minotaur, the Minotaur, who's taken over. Those of you that are familiar with Marvel Comics history will know the Roxxon Corporation is always kind of in the background, big industrial kind of organization. And they've now bought Marvel Comics in the comic book universe, which is really interesting. And they're going to be publishing comics based on their own Thor within the Thor book. And he's getting his spin-off. So that's him down the bottom corner. He's called Chad Hammer, which I just think is tremendous. His hammer is based on, it's got Roxxon written all over it. I just think this is a really interesting kind of take on things. So a lot of the promotional material has got like a reprint Marvel comic book with Roxxon comics and all this. It's really, really fun. So I just wanted to mention it. Those of you that are reading it, are you enjoying it at the moment?
Can you repeat what you just said? I don't quite understand it. So Roxxon inside the comic book, they're going to create a comic book?
So Roxxon in the comic have bought Marvel Comics and they've copyrighted Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Marvel Comics exists within Marvel Comics.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're now going to be publishing their own Thor comic books to try and damage the reputation of Thor. And this is the character they're using, this Chad Hammer.
So this character is not real in the Marvel comic book, right? It's just a comic book.
Haven't got a clue. It's I don't know how it's going to work.
It's a fictional character inside of a fictional comic book, inside of a fictional comic book about a fictional character.
So if you saw the Logan movie where Hugh Christensen's Wolverine holds up a comic of the X-Men, says this did not happen, this is not us, this is basically the exact same thing that Al Ewing is doing with Thor right now.
Or basically Earth 2.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's an interesting take on the character. Fuzzy, not a fan. Thor goes meta. Whatever.
Well, it just goes to show you that Roxxon as a evil company is no Alchemix.
That's very, very well. We're going to touch on that a little bit, Rob.
Yeah.
Hold your water, Rob. I'm going to pick your brains on that in a little while. Sticking on comic books, guys, this has got us excited. This is really interesting. This is What If, and this is Aliens, and it's what if Burke survived. So they're using the movie line of Aliens and putting it into the kind of the narrative of what if this character survived the Aliens movie, and it's actually written by him and his son, the actor and his son. I really like this. We've talked about this before, myself and some of the guys, about we used to do a show called What If, where we would rewrite comic books, and we're going to start it back up again, doing kind of continuations on of movies. But it looks like Marvel's pipped to the point a little bit. Is this something that would interest you guys? Is it something you would pick up on or read? Luke, I know you're a big sci-fi kind of fan. Is this, if they did a Planet of the Apes version of this, would you be interested?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, we've had all sorts of little like spin-offs and things and connecting different franchises to other things. Like we've had Planet of the Apes meet Star Trek and King Kong and everything else. So yeah, I could see this being successful. It's just, I'm not sure how long you could run it for. Like as a one shot, I think it's fine, but I don't really see many of them going as a long-term series.
No, well, I think it's going to be, typical What If. It'll be a one issue kind of issue. Do you know what I mean? And then that's that. But I think it'll be quite interesting. Any of you guys going to pick this up?
I am. I think when I heard Paul Reiser was going to be involved in it, I go, yeah, I like this character. I mean, with his demise in the movies, I want to see how he got out of it.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be interesting. And I love the What If series, the original What If series, like from the 1970s. I like when they did these one shots of them.
Me too. What If used to be one of my favorite series. Yeah. Phil saying you're a What If show had better ideas than what we're getting now in comics. I can't disagree with you. Paul's character in Aliens was so good, so used to seeing him as a comic relief. His bad guy performance was awesome, absolutely. One of my favourite movies. That I know we've talked about some of the favourite sequels before, but one of my favourites. I think it'll be stunning. Okay, guys, moving on. This took me left field. Dark Universe. So
Dark Universe is back, baby.
Yeah,
let's do it.
But why? So Dark Universe is the kind of the banner they used for the rehash of the Mummy movie a good few years ago now with Tom Cruise.
2015, 2016.
Which tanked. I mean, I don't think it was that bad. But it
was fine.
But this is an entire theme park based around that concept. Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah.
Chris, you've heard of it. Tell a little bit about it, mate.
So the Universal Monsters are finally getting some respect, and they're going to get their own theme park. But the Dark Universe movie franchise, they had actors already under contract, like Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
They were all lined up, and then The Mummy kind of went off the rails with Tom Cruise being a little too controlling about that film, and it kind of went off the rails, and they just scrapped the whole thing. I thought at least we deserved, the second kick of the can, like give us the Invisible Man or whatever. But then they released the Invisible Man, but it was just not branded a part of that universe. But this is exciting for someone that enjoys the Universal Monsters as much as I do. This is great. This is the one thing the American theme parks have really been kind of missing outside of the odd ride here and there, is that their own park, their own theme area of a park, where basically, it's just going to be like kids born before the 80s all hanging out in there. So there's not going to be that many strollers out there.
Yeah.
But
I tell you that one of one of the, I'm absolutely with you. I think this is going to be amazing. And one of the best rides at Universal is the Mummy ride. I don't know if you've been on
Yes.
it. But that's proper scary ride. I mean, it's got flamethrowers inside
Yes.
it. You literally feel the heat in your face, you know. It's
100%. And
it's a
it
superb
all
ride.
crawls along the roof as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It's
like an entire spooky theme park sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, like I would be excited going to this is like the merchandise and like the action figures and stuff you see in the stalls. I love seeing, like we were seeing kind of artwork. Like this isn't tied to those movies at all. This is just like their new branding for because they don't want to call them Universal Monsters, I guess. But yeah, I love seeing this kind of style of these characters like re-emerging now.
I'm surprised they've not done in with this before because, I mean, not to generalize, but in America, you're very Halloween excited, aren't you? You love Halloween. So I would have thought this kind of MonsterVerse horror stuff would have gone down really well, you know? So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Luke, you're a big Universal Monsters fan. There's something that would entice you over to America?
Absolutely, this would be the key reason for me to go. You know, don't get me wrong, I love all the usual geeky things that we all do, but yeah, going over and seeing some proper horror, some Universal monster classics, that's right up my alley.
Yeah. Anybody else got a comment on this before we move on?
This is in Florida, correct? It's going to happen?
Yeah, it's Florida.
Okay, yeah.
There was a couple of others as well. There was they have a Nintendo one opening, and do you remember what the other two were? There was two more. Two more new theme parks. Anyway, they sounded cool.
I can't remember now off the top of my head, James, because I wasn't sure if this was replacing the Universal Islands of Adventure. Because actually, I did, because one of them was Harry Potter. One of them was
Harry Potter. Harry Potter's one of them, yeah.
But that's already there. Harry Potter Land's already there at
They're
Universal.
rebranding it, I guess, or expanding.
It's expanding though. The Harry Potter one is expanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Just going to quickly jump to the chat before we move on, guys. There's lots of comments about our What If series. What if Phil had no beard? Phil's comment on his beard. Dark times. Luke, they won't let this go, mate. They won't let this go. What if Luke hadn't collected everything? Harsh. Just quickly jumping through. The Invisible Man movie was great. It absolutely was, Dan. I loved that.
Of the last decade, I think.
Yeah, I really did enjoy that. It was very, very cool. Okay, Chris. I was attacked by a dwarf in a haunted house at Alton Towers. No more horror theme parks for me. Okay. Was the dwarf part of the show? Or was it just a random attack from a interesting
random gangs of dwarfs walking down the streets of the walkways, attacking normal-sized people for
we get daring, all the time.
For daring to ask, how's it going down there?
Yeah. Last Invisible Man movie I watched was I really enjoyed the Kevin Bacon one. You guys all seen that, Hollow Man?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Just noticed Highland G's top. Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. Oh, bless. Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool. Shap, nice to see you, Shap. This park will be epic. Nice to see you too, Wayne. That's the one. Wayne is saying, not seen the Invisible Man film yet. Really cool, mate. Well worth checking out. Okay, James, you wanted to talk a little bit about this. This is the Suicide Squad game, yeah?
Yeah, Suicide Squad Kill Justice League is officially out. It's been out. There was a 3-day early access thing, but it's out now. Reviewers didn't get early copies, so it took a couple of days. But reviews are starting to kind of trickle out now, and it's bad. It's very bad. 5 out of 10 from IGN. Not a lot of games go this slow, you know. So like the main complaints are like the monetization. I had to look at like just out of curiosity at like the in-game store and like watch how much things cost. So like if you want, for example, like a new 52 Harley Quinn costume, $20. If you want that costume plus like the various kind of like different color schemes for it and stuff, it's $40 just for that one character. Shocking. Like absolutely absurd. Like to have the gall to ask for that much money. Other issues, people said like it's the same kind of 4 mission types repeated over and over again for the entire story. People are a bit pissed about how certain characters are, like particularly the Justice League characters, are treated in it as well. And it's just like one of the most disastrous launches of a game I've ever seen. So like it's shocking. And the annoying thing is like I kind of want to play it, but I don't want to support this kind of money grubby monetizing kind of style of game, you know.
I find it so strange that, you know, in terms of properties at the moment, comic book properties are still hot. So you've got Marvel properties are as hot as they'll ever be, you know, and DC. Yet two of the biggest balls ups with games have been the Marvel Avengers game that tanked, didn't it?
Yep.
And now this. How are we getting it so wrong? Or how are they getting it?
They should have
so
just
wrong?
cancelled that. Like, some reviewers are saying like Avengers was better because at least there was more variety in the characters you played. Like Hulk plays a bit differently to Iron Man, whereas in this one it's just they all just shoot guns, ash purple glowing things. You know, that's the entire game. So yeah, it's so sad. Like Rocksteady created the Arkham series. Like they redefined like stealth action games. You know, sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Not for me. Not for me.
No.
Anybody else want to mention on this? Any of you big gamers out there going to be picking this up?
I don't play video games at all, man. So
Not be rushing to get this one. The next
no,
one.
I'll just listen to James talk about it. That fills my it's good enough for me. So
James's dulcet tones just talking to you about games. Yeah. Lovely. Nice. Okay, guys. Moving on. Rob, I don't know if you've seen this, but this is a little bit interesting. So the recent run of Spider-Man 2099, they've kind of put a splash page at the back to say that there's going to be some big summer launch of 2099 stuff. What do we know what this is about? Is it a big relaunch or something?
The rumors are that they're relaunching the universe, and I mean the universe has undergone. 2099 universe has undergone multiple reboots and or changes since the original 2099 launch. So what most of it's been due to timey-wimey shiznat. So who knows what'll actually this will be like. Cautiously optimistic, but again, given track record, I don't know that this is the right move right now. I don't know that despite 2099 maybe doing well with some limited series runs, I don't know that it's ready to support an entire universe. At the same time, you're launching Ultimate Universe. Yeah. It's too many things simultaneously, and at the price per book, there's only so much to go around that I just don't see that there's going to be long-term sales to support beyond a few people speculation grabs. So I'll be disappointed from that aspect, even if the stories are good. Because even with good stories, it's niche, and I just don't see that it's going to have legs long term, unfortunately.
So have you guys been reading the recent 2099? Because from what I'm hearing, there's been a relaunch of. I was reading the article about the summer thing, and it said that the recent run of Spider-Man has had Werewolf by Night and a lot of monster properties kind of been given the 2099. That's got us interested. I might go back and reread that. That might be interesting.
Does anybody know if I haven't heard much about it? If there's going to be brand new characters, I'm assuming they're going to keep Miguel O'Hara. I mean,
right, he's the linchpin of the whole thing. There may be, and with that, there are some characters that have continued from the original series, and then they're always introducing new versions. It's always odd that everybody in all the superheroes pretty much that come up in the 2099 universe just adopt names from superheroes of the past. There's never actually, aside from Ravage, there's not like any. Yeah. Well, I guess technically the X-Men 2099 are, well, it's a team. You know, some of those characters are unique and originals, but I mean,
I bought so many Ravage books when it first came out. I thought it was going to be a hit. God.
They all had those foil covers, didn't they? Yeah. The original 2099 issue ones. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of particularly the Spider-Man book, and I have to say I'm a guilty pleasure. I loved the Next book as well with the next generation of the Avengers. And was there a version of Juggernaut in there, Juggernaut's son or something as well? J2, I think he was called.
Yeah, J2. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. 2099 is coincidentally how much Wei Sheen's booster seat cost. Harsh, Andy. Yeah, I think this is interesting.
It's gonna be funny in like 70 years when like we actually hit the year 2099, and like, what's Marvel gonna do that?
Can you? Perpetual Comics, any of you guys, can you tell me what exactly that means? His comment, I have no idea, went right over my head.
One of the people who's in the chat panels in the half pint, Sean, is a very, very nice man, my friend. I'm just saying that now. He's a lovely guy, great fun to be with, but he's a wee little man. He's vertically challenged, shall we say. Gotcha. Okay. And he gets a little bit of ribbon for it. So Andy's just having a little bit of a dig at him there in the chat. Right, guys. Next bit of news. I really don't know how I feel about this, so I am going to come to each of you to get your thoughts on it. We'll start with Luke, because I just don't know what I think. Liam Neeson remaking the Naked Gun franchise, taking over the role. I can already see what Rob thinks. Taking over the role from Leslie Nielsen. Seth, is it Seth Green from Family Guy? Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Seth. Is it Seth Green? Can't remember.
Seth Green or Seth Rogen?
Who's the guy who
Seth
wrote
MacFarlane?
Seth MacFarlane, yeah. Seth
Guy,
MacFarlane. Yeah, he's apparently attached to this. I don't know if he's writing it, but he's involved with the project. Liam Neeson is very, very excited about this. He thinks it's going to potentially reinvigorate his career, as it kind of did for Leslie Nielsen. I have to say, on a positive note, Liam Neeson did an episode of Ricky Gervais's Extras. Don't know if you've seen that, yep. Where he's pitching comedy ideas to Ricky Gervais, and it's hilarious because he's so deadpan and everything. And as he's kind of doing this role play, everything ends up with, and I'm in the doctor's surgery and I've got a cancer. And he's like, well, that's not funny. Well, that is. So it's very deadpan, flat kind of delivery, and it works quite well in that show. But for me, guy, I don't know if I've talked about him before, Leslie Nielsen, I absolutely adore his movies, his films. He's one of my heroes. If you've ever got a bit of a chance, go and just Google on YouTube his interviews over the last few years, his compilations, because he used to take with him a fart box to all of his interviews and just press it randomly during interviews and stuff and go, excuse me and stuff. It's just ridiculous, my kind of humour. So, Luke, what do you think of this?
So pretty much the same as every franchise, really. If you want to make something, make it original, make something new, do it in the same vein as that stuff, make references saying that we're doing it as a kind of homage to that, but make it your own thing. Do something new. Don't attach all these names to it, because that's where it leads to the disappointment. You're always going to upset the people that love and remember the original, whereas if you're doing something new in the same vein as something that people love, you're more likely to succeed. So I just feel like we shouldn't be labeling the reboots. Do you know what I mean? Like, reboot stuff, by all means, go with the same ideas, redo those ideas, but don't attach it to the original property.
Yeah. Do your own thing. Your own thing. Efren, are you a fan of the Naked Gun movies?
Oh yeah,
Police Squad before that.
Even the series that was on TV before the movies, I really enjoyed it. And as long as it makes me laugh, I'll be okay with it. Hopefully it will. It's just they haven't even started filming yet, right? They just have Liam Neeson connected to it. So yeah, if it's going to be the same creators from the original one.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they're attached. I might be wrong, mind, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. As long as I'm entertained, I'll go check it out.
Yeah. Highland J, how about you?
I mean, I don't go to see very many movies anyway, but I'm not really a remake person. As kind of Luke was saying, like, I think things should be original. I think things should be kind of fresh. They can be homages to something. They can be parodies of something. They can, be referencing it. They could even be a spin-off in a way. But why do you have to remake it? Why do you have to reuse that same title? Is it just a way that you think you're going to get bums on seats or something? Because if you truly make a good thing, it might not make the money in the cinema. It might make the money on disc later or on streaming, but the good thing will make money if you make a good thing. You don't need to do all this sort of parlor trips to get people in.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, it works in the opposite way for them when they replace such a beloved character. People kind of automatically are a bit negative about it. So it maybe doesn't do them the PR boost as they'd hoped. I think
they're aiming for a younger generation, but this was our generation when we've seen these movies, and a whole generation has passed basically. So I'm sure they're going to be focusing on that. Who've never seen the original ones.
Yeah, very true, and true, Fuzzy. Hot Shots, love Hot Shots, one of my favorite movies of all time. Chris, how about you? Are you a Naked Gun fan?
Yes. Well, as a Canadian, you have to be.
Yeah, it's a law, isn't it? It's in the law. Yeah.
And the Canadian in me feels incredibly upset that they're even touching this. Like, there's like nothing is sacred anymore. Let's be honest. Even in the depths of comedy when it comes to former comedy movies. But I can see the connection between Seth MacFarlane and Liam Neeson, because Liam Neeson had a cameo in Ted 2, which
That's
is
right,
Seth
yeah.
MacFarlane's, one of his babies.
And A Million Ways to Die in the West as well. So
Right.
he's been in a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
I don't know about this one. I really don't know that. Like, I think there's so many. I think, I don't want to say baby boomers, but a lot of Gen X will kind of turn their nose up at the idea of this and just flat out ignore it because certain things you just don't need to be remade.
Yeah. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Rob, how about you?
Well, this idea has been swimming in raw sewage, and I love it. Actually, you know what? My initial gut instinct is, like, I rolled my eyes, obviously, just because the normal concept idea of the constant flow of remakes is tiring. There are some things, though, as I think about this, I mean, listen, that could make this good, right? First of all, like you said, Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor and everything else, and his deadpan delivery and what he was able to do with this role and the stuff that he did in Airplane and everything else, phenomenal. He had quite the run. What was his spy movies? He did some knockoffs of James Bond stuff too. And Leslie Nielsen is one of those guys that I could see if he delivers that same tough guy type delivery that he has, but completely stupid and asinine, like oblivious to what's going on ways, that could be interesting. And much like The Naked Gun was a parody of the police sitcoms and procedurals of the day, if you update it to today, we're in this world of CSIs and FBIs and NCIS and all these things, and you take a lot of that type of element and do that. I mean, it could be good, but you got to be careful because it's too easy to accidentally fall down the shtick of these not another teen movie or type stuff, which is just completely stupid. Seth MacFarlane, being attached to it, I get it. This is something he likes to do, stuff about things that was his youth, and he's our age. So there's a certain child, but he's got to know you got to be careful touching these things that are hollowed amongst certain people. And at the same time, he's so stretched with so many different projects that you really get nervous about that level of involvement. So, man, I'll go see it. I don't know if I'll see it in the theaters. I'll definitely watch it. But I'm already probably going to be hedging towards I want to hate this just because I view the originals as such great pieces on their own.
Yeah, you see, I think I completely agree, Rob. I think there's a few comments in the chat here about Pat Bear. I think it's bang on. Leave Naked Gun alone, just focus on the original Police Squad kind of thing. And you're talking about a CSI show. I would be very happy if they said they were continuing the story of Police Squad in some fashion, but leave Frank Drebin out of it. Do you know what I mean? Don't redo it. Just update it to now. We're revisiting the Police Squad headquarters, and these are the current team kind of thing. That would work for me. James, are you familiar with the Police Squad TV show and the movies, Naked Gun movies?
I know Naked Gun. I don't know Police Squad. But yeah, for me, that felt like a franchise because Leslie Nielsen's so crucial to it. That should have been left alone. But I do like the idea of there is a lot of material for a modern spoof of modern kind of police procedural things. I love Seth MacFarlane. I think he's hilarious as well. Liam Neeson can be really funny in a lot of things he's in. So ultimately, I think it comes down to if it's good. You know, like if it comes out and it's like mediocre or less, it'll be considered the worst thing ever. But like if it's pretty good, I think we'll all be happy with it. So a potential.
Yeah, time's going to tell.
So if Leslie Nielsen, when he did he got to have his scenes with the Queen. Does that mean Liam Neeson's get to use King Charles?
Yeah, he'll be up for it. Charlie's up for stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? Charlie will do that. No, that would be great.
I was just thinking about the whole remake thing and like which ones I find more acceptable, and I think it's something to do with if the character or story existed outside of movies first. Like if something was like an older, character from, you know, older tales or nursery rhymes, whatever it is, you know, Peter Pan or whatever, you expect new plays every so often, or new movies or new takes of that story, because it's like an ever ongoing story that's been passed down over generations. But when you see something like, say, John Wick, that was created for TV with those actors, and then someone tries to say remake it in 10 years time, that just feels wrong, because like that is the medium it should be. So like I think there's a bit of a difference there.
It's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one. And we'll maybe do a show at some point about remakes. I don't think we've covered remakes before. Can't remember if we did a kind of a favourite remakes.
Well, the truth is not all remakes are bad, are they? I mean, look at John Carpenter's The Thing. It's absolutely amazing, and yet compared to The Thing from Another World, the original older one, it's doesn't even compare.
Well,
Luke's comment reminds me.
Remake though, that's like another adaptation of
certain genres.
Adaptation, remake. I mean, again, it goes back to like what Highland G was saying, when it's based on source material outside of movies, which I think quite a lot of things are, aren't they?
But Luke's comment reminds me, we did do this topic before.
We did, because we talked about that.
Yeah.
I think certain genres translate a little bit easier into remakes, like sci-fi, like the Planet of the Apes films we've had in the last 10 years have been really, really good. But certain genres like comedy, I don't think that they necessarily will consider translating that well. But we'll see if this moves forward.
It's a bit harder unless you evolve it in your own way. Like, you know, Scream kind of took from previous things, and then the scary movies kind of took from Scream, but they weren't direct copies of each other.
Yuko Dwan Street's nice to see you. Your mind goes to when they try to resurrect Sergeant Bilko and the Pink Panther. Oh God, the Pink Panther! I used to love the original Pink Panther movies, and then the remake one was just awful.
So this is a lot of nostalgia, but I love the Steve Martin. Steve Martin, Pink Panther. I love that movie so much.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's going to be interesting. Speaking of remakes, then, and you sci-fi guys, I'll see how you think this is. This is a remake of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman by good old, I forgot his name. What's he called again? Tim Burton, yeah.
I'm on board.
Forget everything we've just said about remakes. We're there. We're there for
Tim Burton and these classic kind of like B-movie horrors.
Yeah.
Sign me up, baby.
When was the last time this guy did anything original? Like, has it been in the last 20 years? Like,
you know
seriously.
Why don't you go back and talk to your Todd McFarlane?
No, well, what's he done original last 20 years? All this guy does is just regurgitate stuff with a
I think Beetlejuice was his only original idea. And you actually look back at it all.
Like Wonka, this. Sorry,
make this really bad. It'll be fantastic. So Rob, you're on board with this. Anybody else excited about this?
Yeah, I love a cool call back to. So I was letting someone else go, but nobody else. I love those shitty 50s B movie things, and like a callback movie to that. I think is going to be great. I'm curious though, because like he has such a distinct, very gothic kind of style. If that's going to slip in here, or if he's going to kind of take a different route with it, you know.
I hope he does it all black and white.
Yeah, well, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Ed Wood is one of his best films. I think a really underrated one. So, like, to incorporate some of that in would be.
I wonder how it's going to fit in with woke culture.
Where
you're going to get a lot of people upset.
Show wear underwear,
pants,
and it'll be nice to see Johnny Depp and Helen Carter Bonham on screen again, won't it? Because they're bound to
say her name again. Sure. What was it?
Helen. I can't remember her name.
Helena Bonham Carter.
I've met the bloody woman as well. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be lovely. Few comments. I want cardboard houses and dinghy.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely going to be a couple of shots that are like shitty on purpose. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like,
he'll do that exactly because he'll capture that style. That's the charm.
Big Dave giving an apology, and that's something he doesn't very often do. Fast X is enjoyable. Good watch. Brain out and escape. Very good watch. Yeah, you see.
Jason Momoa is incredible in that movie.
Not going to be in the next one, is he?
Is he not?
So the rumours about the next X, or it's gone through massive budget cuts. Jason's out. I imagine Vin Diesel had him kicked because I know they had some beef, didn't they? Not good. Got an echo there. So just for you comic book type people, I'm interested to know what you think of this. This is the news that CGC are doing a signature series special label to celebrate what do you call him? Clayton Crane's 25 years as an illustrator, and he's designed this thing to go on the side of your book. Dog shit. I don't understand this at all. I don't know if I've just missed the boat with Clayton Crane. I didn't realise he was that big to have his own kind of special label. I know he's a big artist and but he doesn't do it for me.
It's not that he's necessarily all that tremendously big, but that this is something that CGC has been doing lately with various artists that have been coming in. They've been having them do their signature series and having their own label for people that are fans of those. And there was a good period of time where Clayton Crane, anything he created, there were entire groups of fans that would buy just about anything that he bought, to the point where he's developed so many different signatures that he does that his signatures can cost you more than remarks.
Was it the
because he's
Crane Bow or something? Was it called the
He's got his
Crane Bow
murder and blood splatter and just all this
Rainbow,
ridiculous rainbow.
the Infinity signature.
It started with the Infinity and it's just gone ridiculous from there. And so CGC looks at it and goes, this is great. Look, we can get this guy come in. People pay way too much money for his signatures. And, he doesn't, get this little label like that for their fanboys. But at $95, so CGC never bats an eye at money. But man, Clayton Crane's not, he has taken a little bit of a hit to his persona. I mean, it's probably fading. Time heals as new scandals come to the surface of different things, but so his time has faded some, but there's still a hit on his name from his scandal of stealing some guy's wife.
Yeah, that was all linked to that acetate gate and everything.
Yeah.
Stealing some guy's what?
Yeah.
So do you remember a good while ago, James, there was the acetate gate thing with the that Ultimate Fallout thing?
Yeah.
So
Black
the guy,
Flag Comics.
Black Flag Comics, the guy who kind of produced the comic, as it were, the store owner, there was this breaking story that Clayton Crane had been working with him, had done off with his wife. And then he did it was awful to watch, to be honest. He did a YouTube video, I think, where he was sobbing and crying and stuff. Yeah, it was really awful, because there was people reaching out because they were worried at the end of the video he was going to go and do something to himself.
I'm in shock. How did this pass
It was
by?
it was all at the same time. It was exact same time. There was all the fallout from acetate gate, and at the same time, then was revealed this whole thing with the wife, and so it was like this just ginormous thing, and that's what killed Black Flag Comics when was killed off, and it was crazy.
It was a part of a C2E2 weekend, if I'm right, and basically the acetate gate started Friday, and his wife was gone by Monday.
Yeah. Awful stuff.
I get that these labels and things are a way to make money, but really companies like CGC need to step back down a little bit and realize that we're paying them for a service of grading books, and you don't get this sort of nonsense in any other grading situation. Whether you're grading toys or stamps or anything else, all these labels and stuff, it is getting a little bit ridiculous.
Ultimately, though, is what's the harm if this isn't impacting other services in a negative way?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not against it if people are going to pay for it, but at the end of the day, if you're only sending your books in to get a new label, that's a bit silly. If it's like when people started saying, "Oh, now we need to send our books back because we want a newsstand. We want it saying newsstand on the front." It's like, well, I can identify a newsstand from the comic itself. What is the point? Like, why do you need that?
I will say I think the logo is ugly because there's just too much going on. Too much going on.
Yeah, I completely agree, Jim.
The worst ones is when they're celebrating a character's anniversary or something like that at a convention. So you get the label grade being like 2.5 to celebrate 25 years or something. Have you seen those ones where they're purposely grading the books to match to me, that is such a farce. That is such a ridiculous thing to do. Like, because you're belittling the whole grading system that you've set up.
The other person that's really not good, if you put that graphic back up, is, and this has been on several of these, where you can see they put their foil hollow on the right side. It covers up part of the artwork that gets created. And this is a
Okay.
problem I've had where a couple books where I actually have had character logos, like the Spider-Gwen logo, is the characters half covered up by the hologram cover, and they don't take that into account when they just do the art design for the label.
Wasn't there a Fantastic Four one, Rob, where it covered over? I think it covered over Ben Grimm or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, Andy's saying cheer up, guys. So we'll move on a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got some brighter news to talk about in a second.
The sun's coming out.
Fuzzy. Anyone with more than one cigarette has a real ego problem. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Pat Pearson is going to be an acetate cover. So sticking with CGC, and I'm just going to briefly touch on this, guys. I did a little video recently, a little plug. Go check this out about the CGC, the recent scam. And this is that, I presume you've all heard of this. This is that CGC have filed a motion in the States about 2 employees, a married couple, who were working for CGC and have been, in essence, stealing books, selling them on eBay, and have been swapping out labels as well at some point. So the rumblings go that, all these books that go missing, they may have been finding the way to eBay via some of these employees. Interesting. What do you think of this?
Well, Rob did a quick video. He wasn't going to talk about it, so you may want to just.
I haven't seen that one. Right?
I recorded a short
Yes.
both on YouTube and Instagram. Basically said, "Hey, there's another CGC scandal, and I won't be reporting on this. Keep on collecting because
What about it now?
because I'll talk about it on other shows or when I'm asked my opinion, but I'm not going to sit there and report. And my point was I don't want to be another person who's regurgitating somebody else's report." And put it out as like content to try to get a hold of clickbait to get a few more views. I'll create my own content. Thank you very much. Now, the key thing everyone should remember on this is the quantity that we're talking about here. Because every business, and I don't use absolutes very often, have some shrink that occurs. Theft occurs because humans are assholes. There's 23 books.
Yeah.
That's it. 23 books. Now, some of them were very big books. There's 23.
Even if there was more, it's still a small number. Even if you said 100 books, I don't think it's relevant. You're talking such small numbers.
Right. And this was CGC found this during their not even related investigation. They had their own stuff. They found that this was going on, and this is them now prosecuting, going after, because they've had to make good to these people whose books disappeared and whatnot. So they've had to make good to them, and so now they're going after this individual. And because this is the way it is, it's now come out. This is a nothing.
It's not a company-wide scandal. It's an isolated incident of 1 or 2 employees taking something, isn't it? Yeah. So
So my understanding is, like Rob says, it's 20 odd books or something like that. But I don't understand the stuff about the label swapping. I don't know how many that's affected.
What that was of the books that they stole, there were a couple of them where they felt like the grade wasn't good enough or something, as you read through the court paperwork. And so they then swapped out or counterfeited replacement labels for them to give that book a bigger grade so they could sell it for more.
Yeah. Fuzzy's saying, so it's okay to steal as long as it's just for a little.
Yeah, no one's saying that.
Yeah,
Fuzzy. No one's saying that.
It's like everybody's hyping up. Oh my God, CGC, another shit show, and like that's
it's
not the case.
It's
here,
the YouTubers that are reporting on it.
Yeah.
Present company excluded. Who are making it a thing. They're making it worse.
Look at me.
Yeah, and yet none of those people are saying, watch me bin all my CGC books or watch me crack all these slabs now because I don't believe in it. None of them are doing that, right? Because they know deep down in their hearts.
Hey, I'm going to go grade with PGX or CBCS or EGCS.
They should be, if they really care about it, they should put their money where their mouth is on a live stream and crack open all their books and go, I'm done with CGC. Then I'd believe them. Otherwise, it's just clickbait.
Yes.
I've never really understood CGC as a whole personally, because like I get the idea of like get your stuff graded, get more money for it down the line, or like get your investment back, and I understand like from that concept. But a lot of what you see is people grading like a book for its cover rather than for its story, or you've got these custom labels, which to me personally, if I'm sealing a book up to archive it, I don't want any label on it. I don't want any grade on it. I want it in an archive state that's going to keep it as close to what it is now for as long as possible, even if that means that I can't see it front and back. You know, like if they've got to put it in some sort of sealed bag or something like that, that would be more important to me, because grading a book and then it's sitting in plastic for X amount of years and actually degrading because it's not actually archived. And then somebody else could go and get a book graded and it's going to get a different grade, which would be the same grade as that book is now after sitting in that book, but now it's got a higher number on it because it got archived a few years ago. Well, the whole thing's a lie anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. I personally think archive your stuff if you really care about it, and then do a deal in person where the person can grade it themselves or see what it is that they're buying. But outside of that, a lot of this is allowing for online sales and hyping up of prices that really shouldn't be there. So CGC for me is in a bit of a sketchy area anyway. It's collectors that want to create things in a slightly different manner, but have a little bit more of a flair to it, want big numbers to throw around and kind of things like that. So because of that, there is going to be the few people that take advantage of it. But should that mean that those who do enjoy this stuff can't enjoy it? No, I think that's perfectly fine, you know?
The theory is...
Sorry, Rob. Carry on.
I was going to say, the theory with it originally is that these are collectibles. And for those highly collectible items, it's a third party assessing the condition of the book, so that way in a peer-to-peer sale transaction, you don't, especially in situations where the book's not in front of you, you don't know that my assessment is 100%, that this is supposedly a impartial third party who's evaluated the book and says this is the condition it is. Now, whether
which is great for internet-based sales where you can't see something,
right? And whether or not then there falls into, then there's the people who love to collect it from a gamification standpoint, like to have a certain aspect, and there's a certain aspect that's pure sales. And then there's all the monkey malarkey, which is the logos and other stuff, which is just more money, CGC grabbing money, and people doing various things. There's a whole different level. There's different levels of collectors that collect different ways. And some of this is not right for anybody. Some of it's right for only some collectors, and some of it's right for everybody's collection.
And I think that's the key thing you've said there, Robert. You know, everybody collects differently, and some people love CGC. I personally really enjoy collecting CGC books, but I get why it's not everybody's cup of tea. But as Chris is saying in the comments, you know, I think someone said in the comments, you know, people collect their own ways. Collect how you want to collect. That's up to you. People shouldn't tell other people how to collect, I guess.
What's really interesting is that the raw grading hasn't taken off. That like CBCS and a couple others have offered raw grading for all but you know, those people who like raw books, they don't care about a third party grading for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
CGC
is always an emotive subject, isn't it?
Yeah, but imagine you're selling a house, right? You would get it evaluated and you'd sell that house, right? That person who buys that house doesn't keep that evaluation to then sell to the next person. They get it reevaluated at the point they're going to sell it in the condition it's in at that point in time. And that's my issue with CGC, is the grade can change over time, but you're not changing it on the box.
Yeah. That's a common comment people make. Okay, moving on, guys. So, just to mention, as ever, any funds raised on this channel go to mental health charities. We're close and getting near to the point where we've got the kind of the YouTube threshold for payout. So as soon as that happens, we'll do a live show where we'll decide which mental health charities we go to. So we'll do that soon. Just to remind people, hashtag free comics in the chat, please, and we'll do that soon. What we've been reading, I wanted to mention this. I don't know if any of you guys read this, The Colonized, Zombies versus Aliens?
No, I love the look of this though.
Yeah, so I love the look of this as well. I was really excited about this. It's shite. I was really excited about this. I thought the artwork looked stunning. The basics of the story are a UFO hovers over this small town, and they use a kind of, they're looking for, you know, as you do, cows or whatever, and they use a tractor beam, but they happen to be over a graveyard, and the tractor beam for some reason alters the DNA and creates people into zombies, so it raises the dead, as it were. Should be a phenomenal synopsis, the aliens land fighting the zombies, as it were, but it just gets bogged down with politics, basically. So this little town, this village, is carbon neutral or something, and it's all about the electric way of life and how they haven't got all this power. It gets into politics a great deal and about anti-government stance. And if they'd just cut a lot of that out and just had zombies fighting townfolk and aliens, it would have been great. But yeah, it just turned off for me, I'm afraid. Fuzzy, as ever, is just in a way of words. He wasted a tenner on this twat. So, yeah. I don't know if that's a word over in Canada, Chris, that last word. It's a rude word. Is that a word that you're going to use?
Yeah, we're aware of
Twat, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Crack and cover though, mind. It was just rubbish, Dr. Who, look at these majestic beasts. We'll have to catch the rewind tomorrow, but it's been good to see you, Fuzzy. Don't bother, DVH. It's been a bloodbath. It absolutely has. Not a favourite of mine. I have to say this. I wouldn't recommend reading it. You guys been reading anything interesting?
I've been reading the prequel to Planet of the Apes. I just started reading it.
The
original movie from 1969, I believe. I enjoy it. It has the original apes that were in the movie, and it has forgot the female character's name, the one that can't talk, whatever her name was. I like when they show Nova. Thank you. And I like also when they show scenes of they're going to the forbidden world or land, and they show parts of the New York subway. They show like a plaque, and then they show Yankee Stadium, which always is a kick for me. So I've been enjoying that book so far. I just started.
I don't think I've read that one, actually, Efren. I don't think I've read that. Fuzzy saying he's read issue 1. It was really good. Yeah. Pat Bear's saying Avengers Twilight. Yeah, I've loved that issue. Good too. Yeah, 2 issues of that. Yeah, that's a stunning Alex Ross cover. Yeah, I've really enjoyed that. It's very, very cool. Yeah. Anybody else been reading anything they want to mention?
So the other, it seems like a long time ago now, but last time we were all on together, we were talking about the Walking Dead comics, and everyone really loved it all in the chat, and it made me go back and reread a lot of the older issues. So I'm currently up to the whole like siege on the prison and everything else, which is around like issue 40 something. But my God, do I love that. I feel like I really enjoyed it when it first came out. And then obviously the show came out and all the hype really built up for the show. And I kind of forgot how good those that older comics were. They really are great. So again, I know most people already know because we've already spoke about it, but yeah, go back and give them a reread. They're amazing.
How many of you guys reread comic books? Because I don't. I read them once and then I'm basically done.
I've got a couple of books I reread. Sorry, Rob.
I say I'm with you for the most part, but I do. Speaking of older books, I do like to pick up every once in a while the nice collected classics, and I'll read these. These are fun, and of course you get like the original cover arts and stuff are inside these pages stuff too. So this one I'm reading right now, and after I'm done reading this one, my buddy Chris's buddy of our LCS owner, Chris from Retro Rocket Comics, sent me this beautiful reprint that I'll be cracking open to read.
Wow, nice.
Very nice.
So
I love that cover.
Cool. Yeah. Chris, I was going to read the pro, but you've ruined it. I haven't ruined it, Chris. Read it still, mate. It's a stunning book. Stunning book. And just read it and then let us know what you think, because it's superb.
Hilarious.
Anybody else before we move on?
So I've just finished reading Rat Queens. In the deluxe versions, it's the image comics. The first or second arc was drawn by, and I always pronounce his name wrong, but it's Stefan Sedge, something like that. The guy who did Sunstone and some other bits and pieces. So I just wanted to read it to see his art more than anything else. But basically, it's this sort of female team of sort of Dungeons and Dragons style kind of characters, which are extremely adult and kind of have different twists and turns to their kind of characters. There's little funny things like this sort of elfin girl. All the women in their family actually like grow beards, and she's the only one that like decided not to. So like in the start of the story, she's kind of going about without a beard, and then you find out that she's supposed to have one. So it's kind of like a surprise thing. But there's all these just random things that happen. Lots of like god elements and death and swearing and all that kind of stuff. I found the first arc a little bit slow and a little bit hard to kind of get into, which I find interesting because when I've seen people's reviews on Goodreads and stuff, like they've actually said the other way around. But I found once it got going, each maybe 5 to 6 issues was its own like little arc, almost like they didn't know when it was going to stop. So they kind of made sure that they closed off the arcs, and it was just a good fun ride, really. So
sounds interesting. I've not heard of that one. Sounds interesting. Okay. Anybody else before we move on?
Yeah, speaking of books that like go back to reread, for me, ElfQuest is something that I seem to reread every few years. I don't know if much of the panelists know about Wendy and Richard Pinney, and that they did the ElfQuest series way back in the late '70s, and it was reprinted in the late '80s under Marvel's Epic brand, and they released stories here and there. That and The Killing Joke by Alan Moore, that I go back and I read that every so often. And every time I seem to read it, I see different concepts through that story. It's, even though it's a one shot, it was really, really good. Yeah. But the book I'm reading right now, or the second issue just got released this past Wednesday here, is Wolverine: The Sabretooth War. I haven't read a mutant title in a long time, but the first part of Sabretooth War really billed itself as, you know, the most violent Wolverine Sabretooth comic ever, and I laughed at it. But I ended up picking up a sexy cover because, you know, I'm a sucker for a sexy cover. And I decided to read it after seeing so many positive reviews, and it was excellent. So I picked up the second issue. Basically, long story short, every year or whatever, Sabretooth does something to Wolverine on his birthday because Sabretooth knows a lot more about Wolverine than Wolverine does. But this time, Sabretooth goes and gets a bunch of different other Sabretooths from different dimensions who continuously are doing the same thing there to other Wolverines, and at the end of issue 1, well, it really messes up Wolverine's birthday, what he does, and this issue here just carries on more of that overall sinister tone that Sabretooth does to Wolverine, and it's like I said, it's been a long time since I've read a mutant book properly, but this has been really, really good, and I recommend to anyone, like, if you read X-Men as a kid or whatever, just go pick up issue 41 of Wolverine and now issue 42. I guarantee you it'll take you back a little bit of the nostalgia value with a lot more blood and guts and gore if you're into that kind of thing. And what happens at the end of the first part is just like, wow, like this is beyond personal. This is like, I'm trying to damage him like for mental illness, like, because it is just so traumatic what happens. And I didn't think Marvel had it in them, but Marvel for the last couple of months to me have really turned around a lot of good titles and have been putting out a lot of good stories.
Dang, I'm gonna go read it right now. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah. So I've read this. It must be the second part of that, Chris. I think I've read. What's the issue? The cover.
This is the second part of the Sabretooth
War. So I've just read that, and I should have read issue 1 first, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't read a Wolverine comic in a long time, and I have to say it was good. I did enjoy it. It's super violent, but it's got to be an Elseworld or something, because there's a scene, and I don't want to spoil it for people, but I don't know how he comes back from that, because he's missing bits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't understand what they can do to fix that.
I don't think that it's necessarily, like, they haven't said it, but I don't know if it's 616 Wolverine that we're actually following here.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. It is worth a look, right? Just Fuzzy saying the Spider-Man books have all been solid. Yeah. Okay, I haven't read. Is that part of the gang war storyline? I've not been reading that. I'll have to catch up on
the
that.
gang war is still happening. Spine-tingling Spider-Man just concluded with its 4th issue. This was terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. It took a long time for it to come out, though. It almost seemed like to be bi-monthly, but the Spider titles, I still say Miles Morales is the best, but the McGill O'Hara miniseries that just concluded was terrific too. And I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought it was going to be very cheese or au fromage, but it was really, really well done.
I'll have to check that one out. Sean is just saying here, did I see during the week that Michael B. Jordan might be playing Superman elsewhere? That's been talked about for a long, long time. And I think someone asked what you may call him. I've forgotten his name again.
Belzot?
No, man. Who's the guy in charge of DC at the moment? James Gunn.
Jim Lee.
Yeah, James Gunn, sorry. Someone asked James Gunn if that movie was still in the pipeline, and he said yes. So, yeah. Fuzzy saying Gang War has been very good. Spine Tingling is tremendous. Good stuff. Right, chaps, what have we been buying? So I'll start off in case you haven't got stuff to hand. Please remember, everybody, #FreeComics, and we'll draw that in a second. So just before we start, I've shown this before, but I haven't shown it on this show. So I wanted to make sure that I showed it off. This is from Pad Bear, who is... a great guy who sent us this original artwork
Nice.
of Skeletor and the Sorceress there. This is the original artwork. It's massive. And he also sent us a coloured version. That's a photocopy of the original artwork, and then he coloured. So absolutely blown away by this. He sent us a lovely letter as well. So Pad Bear, I cannot thank you enough for these. I love these. I wanted to show them off, and then they're going to go up on the wall behind us, I think, because they're absolutely stunning. I love it. Absolutely love it. So over the moon to get them. I have shown this off on the Killer Comic Show, but I want to show it off again. See if any of you guys know what this is or one of these are. Anybody know what these are?
Oh, Goblin? Or,
Boglin.
the Boglin.
The
Right?
Boglin, yeah. So picked this
Yeah.
up at a toy hunt the other day. Absolutely over the moon with that. Hadn't had one of these for years. So yeah, love that.
Is
Love
it one of the newer ones or is it an older one? 'Cause
No,
they
it's an
have
original.
they have been around for a long time. So
Yeah.
it's my understanding that the gentleman that created the original line never actually handed over all the licensing. So he's been able to make his own in his basement all these years, all
Right.
the way through. So every time they reappear back in toy shops, it's just because he's managed to secure a new deal. But he's been
Yeah.
producing Boglins all the way through, because you have the smaller little plastic ones as well as the bigger hand puppets.
right.
Yeah.
No, this one's from 83, I think it is. So yeah, it's one of the originals. So love that. Absolutely love it. Just going to quickly show off a few comics that are going into the giveaway box. So we've got a few, well, they're all variant covers. We've got a What If Miles Morales. That's going in the box. We've got a variant of Dark Ages #1, which is really nice. We've got a variant of Punisher #1.
I love
That's a
that
really
cover.
nice book
Yeah,
as well.
in
Love
Yuckly.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a variant of Domino. I think, is that Delotto? I think that looks like Delotto art. Can't see it. But yeah, nice one. And then we've got a rather sexy variant of X-Men of Psylocke. So yeah, very nice. So they will be going to the giveaway box whilst you guys are chatting. So James, have you got your very, very sexy thing to show with?
I have got my very, very sexy thing. So
Okay.
for once, I can confidently say I think I probably have the coolest thing this week. So I managed to pick up a grail of mine, probably the grail in terms of comics. Like, you know, obviously I'm never gonna own an Amazing Fantasy 15, but this is like the one I wanted. So I got ASM 129,
Oh,
First Appearance of the Punisher,
Boom!
5.0.
The Jackal.
that's the first Jackal, man.
First Jackal, of course. I
Yeah.
always wanted a first Jackal. Yeah, Punisher is my favorite Marvel character. Like one of my favorite characters in comics. So like I'm ecstatic to have this now. So it's great. So it's
Congratulations.
gorgeous as well. Thank you for a 5.0. Like the only thing is that there's like a tiny, if you can even see it on this. There's like a tiny square of tape there, just here. And I think it would be like a 7 if it didn't have that, because it's pristine. You know, so yeah, ecstatic. Delighted.
That's a stunning book.
Nice.
Stunning book. Really, really pleased for you, James. Love it.
And it was a very stressful time, wasn't it, James, waiting for it?
Horrendous, yeah. Absolutely. I was so worried about it. But, yeah,
I'm so happy for you, bud.
Yeah. Thank you to Efren for sending that on to me. And did you double box it? Did you put an extra box around it first?
I double boxed it. It came in the original box, and then I put it in one of my boxes, so just to
Really
make
good.
sure it was secure and stuff like that. I was like, it took over 2 weeks to get there. They didn't have any updates. I use a pirate ship, I think. But they didn't have any updates until they finally sent me a notice. Hey, it's where you're at, you know, and you got it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad, you know, I was gonna crack it open and
It's like a message on the way home saying,
Yeah.
I just got customs charge. I was like, yes, it's in
Yeah.
the country. Thank
Yeah.
God. Yeah. So yeah, I'm ecstatic.
anytime, man. Awesome book. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tremendous. Great one. Luke, have you got anything to show off?
Well, yeah, I do actually. Not nowhere near as exciting as what James has picked up, but I found this today in a charity shop. A little Grogu.
Very cool.
So yeah, I wanted one of these when they first came out, because obviously when the show first aired, it missed Christmas and it all came out afterwards. But I wasn't going to pay the full whack for one, and I always thought I'll pick one up second hand. But to actually find one still in the box, you know, a nice little gift aid tag on there that I've got to peel off. But to find one in the box, I'm very happy. It's quite nice just keeping him like this, I think, because he's in his little.
That's cool.
You know, I don't feel like I need to take him out of the box to display him. So yeah, very happy with that pickup.
Very
Only cost me a tenner.
The box isn't taking up much more space than he does anyway. So
Yeah.
No, and he'll go in one of these cabinet things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To fit there quite snug.
Very cool. Very cool. I like that. Efren, how about yourself?
No, I don't have anything. I haven't gotten any. I have a box full of comic books that I get from Gmart, the company I use. I just haven't opened it up for a couple of weeks, so it's just sitting there, but nothing to show off this week.
No
so.
problem. Yeah. Highland G, have you got anything?
Nah, not this week, sorry.
No problem. Chris?
Yep.
Oh,
So the first time in a while, I decided to do a list of books I'm going to try and accomplish to pick up for 2024. I went to a con recently, and I picked up two of those books. I won't be able to ever get an A15 either, and I may not ever be able to afford to get the first appearance of Swamp Thing. So I got the second best. I went and got a Swamp Thing issue number 1 with that gorgeous Wrightson cover in a solid mid-grade. So I was happy to get that.
The covers are stunning, aren't they, for that run?
And everyone's favorite Batman villain, they usually say, is the Joker, but for me, it's Ra's al Ghul. So I finally got a low-grade copy of the first Ra's al Ghul.
Nice.
And
nice.
so, yeah, I'm happy to knock 2 books off my my top 10 list of things I need to pick up in 2024. And hey, now we're only into February now, so
very cool.
I'm feeling
Who's
very
the art?
Thanks, Pete.
Who's the artist on Swamp Thing cover?
Oh, that Bernie Wrightson.
Okay. Yeah, awesome looking cover.
Yeah, Wrightson's just legendary with his Swamp Thing and this Frankenstein stuff.
And if you haven't seen Chris's video about his aims for 2024, please do go check that out. It's a great vid. So yeah, some good books on there as well. Some good books on there.
Thank you, Peter.
Rob, I dare say you've got 1 or 2 things, have you?
Sure. We haven't been around for a while, so I just got a couple real quick. This was first appearance of Misty Knight.
Very good.
Nice read.
I've never seen that book before. Never seen that cover.
Yeah, Marvel
That's an
premiere
interesting one.
21. Super affordable book. I think I paid like $80 for this book. Wow. So it was one of those undervalued books, right? Cat number 1, right? First appearance of the cat.
Yeah.
A nice 8.5 white pages. And then now we'll start to get a few things that are a little bit bigger there. I don't know if it's by the end we might get to Punisher level, but I'm not quite sure. Tomb with Dracula number 1.
Yeah, this is
Very
on my list now
nice.
as well, yeah.
Awesome.
So now I need to pick up the Marvel Spotlight to go in the same grade to go with it. So I got my love of all things Atomic Age sci-fi. We had picked up this Flash Gordon Del 4 color in an 8.0 from 1948.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
So this leaves me down. I only have 1 Flash Gordon 4 color book left to pick up. I had to find Del 4 color 474 in a good grade. It's a tough one to find. Yeah. And in this book, now I have not shown it, Pete. This is the first time I'm ever going to show something on your channel before I've shown it on my channel. Okay, so anybody who comes back and rewatches this is going to get a spoiler for this Monday's mail call. This is a book that I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it's Strange Adventures number 1.
Where's your videos when you go pow? You know, every time you do the special.
Yeah, I haven't got. I need to get them. Yeah.
So since I'm trademarked to say this, Mark, Rob, what's it say on the right side of the blue label there, man?
Destination Moon movie adaptation and photo cover. Interior cover has full page ad for Danger Trail number 1.
Wow.
But so this is, of course, if you don't know Strange Adventures, that is just a epic sci-fi anthology series that ran for over 200 and some odd issues from the 50s to the 70s. You had stuff, other things other than just sci-fi, because Dead Man makes his first appearance in Strange Adventures, the League of Assassins and stuff. But this is the book that kicks it all off. And I'm super stoked to pick this book up.
What's the date on it, Rob? Did you say
1950?
Wow. Were these eBay pickups or Instagram or?
This is an eBay pickup. This was a book that I had been watching it for a while. A couple lower grade copies, and this book I was watching as well. I really preferred this one than the low grade ones. My wife asked me the other day on my birthday, "Have you picked up a book yet for your birthday?" I said no. And then about an hour later, the seller here dropped his price 20% in an offer, and I started to think about toying with him and trying to get even lower. Then I decided, you know what, let me just grab it. and I'm glad I did because I talked to Taylor Winder the other day, and he goes, "Dude," because I was showing him this book because we have shared interest, and he goes, "Dude, did you get that off of eBay?" Because I was watching that, and I got that same offer. Dude, you got that for a steal, and I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I got it then," because if he had bought it, he might have bought it instead of me.
Very nice. Very cool, Rob. Very cool. Some great books there, guys. Some stunning stuff. Okie dokie. Just before we draw, hashtag free comments. Last opportunity to do
Free
that.
comics.
Free
Not
comics.
free comments.
Comments,
You said
yeah,
free.
free comics. It has every comments. And then we shall make a start. So let me just share my screen. So long since I've done this.
You know, all we need is 2 more people on the screen. We can play tic-tac-toe, you know. Do...
Ticket.
Let's go.
Sharing? There we are. Okay, so we'll draw this now. Good luck, everybody. And our winner tonight is Shap for Comics.
Robert.
Excellent. Congratulations, Shap. Congratulations on that win. Let's get you some comic books. Please do drop us a line on Instagram, Shap, and we'll send those to you this week. So we'll send them straight off to you, mate. So, like I say, oops, pressing the wrong buttons. Hi, Rob. Drop us a line on Instagram and we'll get those sent off to you. So, usual stuff, guys. Oh, you bugger. Oh, God.
Watch your back.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. We'll start with you, Rob. Tell us when to stop.
No.
Front or back?
Back.
Back. This is shamelessly stolen from your show, but never mind. James T.
Second from the back.
Second from the back of the box.
Yeah.
Luke.
Second from the front of the box.
Second from the front of the box. Okay. Highland G. Stop or gives a number.
Stop. And the back one.
Back one. And Chris.
Let's go 10 from the front.
10 from the front. Oh. 1, 2, 3.
Next time we're gonna go like I want the 45th.
That's why on my show I limit it to 1 through 10 from the front, 1 to the back.
We have rules on that on the other show.
Yeah, we don't do rules here. It's just anarchy. Okie dokie. So, Shap, if you're still in the chat, this is what you'll be getting. You get some free.
Make yourself big.
Oh, make big. Yeah, where are we? That's Rob. Drag you over. So you'll get some free trading cards, DC trading cards. You get a copy of The Weeping Blade from our good friend Kev Wells.
You must
who's
be
the
running
artist
low on
this.
them now.
Gorgeous.
I bought his entire stock. I think I bought 30 copies or something like that. Just to
Oh, it's like
support
so me and X-Force 1. Got it.
yeah. And then the books you have got. We've got, well, that's quite nice. Catwoman
Nice, I like that.
952. It's a variant. Quite nice. Got it. Ooh, digital. So this is digital. This is a Kickstarter book by a friend of ours, Rich. Really, really cool series. So good that you'll be getting that one. It's a good book. Get this. That's an old school Incredible Hulk. 334. Quite like that cover. Ugh. I'll just put that one in. Got an X22, the nice image of Psylocke. I like Psylocke. And then, oh, that's nice. We've got I think it's a UK exclusive Forbidden Planet Transformers issue #1, first print.
That's awesome.
Decepticons go to a rave.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool series. I'd
Venom's
recommend
there.
checking out. So, Shap, if you drop us a line, mate, and we'll get those sent off to you soon as possible. Okie dokie. So let's crack on, guys, because we've still got quite a bit to get through. We've got... Oh, itchy eyeball. We have... Oh, what's happened to me slides? There. I just wanted to very briefly mention this. We've talked about it before, but just to say that Beetlejuice's first teaser poster is out now, so we know the date that it's coming out. I'm hyper for this. Cannot wait to see this. It's going to be really, really cool.
It's called Beetlejuice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like
Which
that. That's
is genius. I love
Perfect,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely love that. So excited about that. James, you've been to see this.
Yes, this is Poor Things. This is the new Yorgos something. Anyway, the guy that did The Lobster and The Favourite and stuff. This is kind of Emma Stone's winning awards left, right, and centre for this. Presumably going to win the Oscar as well. It's awesome. Like 10 out of 10. I think incredible. Really just hilarious the entire way through. It's absolutely filthy. Like half the movie she's getting railed.
Getting
Shocking,
real.
like shocked.
And what's that title again?
Poor things. But it's a really beautiful story as well. Like it's very oddball and unique. There's like elements of like Frankenstein in there. Mark Ruffalo, it's like I think his best performance. Like he's absolutely hysterical, and he's sort of this like dickhead lawyer guy that kind of steals her away. It's brilliant. But yeah, just like it was weird to like two people walked out of it because it was so weird. There's just bizarre stuff, but like I adored every second of it. I just thought it was really whimsical, beautiful. The cinematography, the sort of like backdrops kind of look like paintings. Like it's sort of a very unique visual style to it. So like, I absolutely highly recommend this one.
So I've convinced my wife to go and see this over the next few days. So I hope it's not too weird. I hope it's not too abstract.
Yeah, there's some sort of gore, I guess, like surgery kind of sequences that didn't need to be in it. I think it was a real. That was the one bit where I was like, that didn't need to be there. That's just there for shock's sake. But like it's phenomenal. I think really, like I'd recommend everybody.
And have you guys seen it? Nobody else seen it? No.
No,
Okay.
but I really want to. It's on my list. I do want to see it. I'll probably see it when it comes on streaming, or go out and buy a disc.
Good stuff. I'll let you know what I think, James, because I'll be going to see it hopefully the next few days. Toy Soldiers. You've also been to see, or seen this recently.
My friend Jeff has shat on nonstop about this movie. So it's from like the 90 or 91. Anybody here seen it?
No.
That's the original.
It's Sean Astin. Yeah. So it's like it's set at this kind of prep school, and it's about this terrorist group that takes over the school, and it's like the kids are trying to kind of like send out information to like the people outside and like kind of stop them. Fantastic. Like I loved every second of it. I thought it was really just a fun kind of adventure movie, like quite like dark at points as well. But it's a really great cast, and Will Wheaton's in it as well. Like he's great. Cool. So like it's a cool one. You should check it out. Cool 90s one.
I'll check that one out. Fuzzy's just saying in the chat here that he watched the first few episodes of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I've heard it's really good, Fuzzy. Let one know in the chat what you think of it, Fuzzy, because I've heard it's good. Say again, James?
It's getting great reviews.
Yeah, it's getting good reviews. Nobody's seen it yet? No? Looks cool. Looks interesting. Chris Bell watched the first episode of Echo yesterday. Really enjoyed it. Excellent. It's just a short one as well, Chris, so you can blast the rest of the series. Hopefully, it surprised me. I think a lot of people thought it was superb. So it's a good one. It's worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. Fuzzy Deadpool trailer will be out next week. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, it's getting close, isn't it? I love The Lobster. Don't think I've seen The Lobster. And Toy Soldiers, great film, good stuff. I went to the cinema with my son to see this. This is The Beekeeper. Anybody seen The Beekeeper?
I haven't seen it, but I did. I enjoyed the trailer. I thought it looked a lot of fun, like your typical popcorn movie. Like if you shut your brain off and just enjoy a bit of action, I think it's right up there.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the John Wick franchise. Absolutely adore John Wick. This is trying to be John Wick, just not as well. The mythology behind it is spot on. I really like the idea that they've set in motion, which is basically, this this beekeeper agency operate outside of the hive being kind of the government society, and their one job is to keep the hive alive, regardless of who's doing what. And it's interesting. Jason Statham is just a shite actor. He's just he can hit and punch people really well.
How dare you? He's a national treasure.
Honestly, I mean, even my son was laughing and taking the mick, because there's one scene which we've mocked where one of the guys, what is it? One of the guys says, "You're a bit of a problem," and he kind of barks at him. "You're goddamn right, I'm a problem." And it's just
I think that's his charm. I think that's why we like him.
Yeah,
like, we know he's shit.
When I think of Jason, I think of him as the UK's version of Bruce Willis. You know what you're going to get every single time, and he's going to turn out a lot of schlock.
Yeah. yeah. That said, I still think, if I was casting, I still think he would be a great Union Jack in the Marvel Universe. That kind of spy, but rough around not a suave James Bond spy, a kind of a rough spy, you know. I think he'd be good at that. But yeah, Beekeeper, it's entertaining. It's not a patch on John Wick in terms of the action and stuff, but there are some good bits in it. It's worth a watch. I sent you a little bit of homework. We had some trailers to watch. Did you guys watch the trailer for the new Megamind?
Yes.
Yep.
Dog shit, wasn't it?
Yes.
Awful. Yeah.
I've never cared for this franchise at all. Like,
I liked the first movie, but as soon as
Wasn't
I'm
it
watching
Will
this,
Ferrell?
no Will Ferrell in this one.
Yeah.
So I mean, first of all, that just ruins it, and it just. Yeah, just you look at it, you just gotta go, this doesn't excite me. It's like a pale imitation of the original.
Now, I mean, I remember enjoying the original, and I enjoyed I enjoyed Will Ferrell. Was Brad Pitt in it? Did Brad Pitt play this? Yeah.
Yeah, he was the Superman type.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, because years since I've seen it, I'm trying to remember the art style. It wasn't this CGI kind of stuff we saw in this trailer, was it? Because this looked...
It wasn't the same. No, this is harsh. Right? But I'm so glad, because I was ready to shit all over this. I'm so glad that everyone agrees. Because I thought it looked awful, and I thought I was going to get abuse for saying it.
No,
I thought it just looked rushed. The first one was very bright and vibrant. That film, even the part where Brad Pitt's character, died, I thought it was very bright, and this was dark.
This is a made for streaming, right?
It's
direct from
this.
Peacock
They're
or
just
something.
setting up the series.
Yeah, because there'll be a series that comes out, but
not good. Efren, did you see it?
I mean,
No, I've never seen it. I knew Will Ferrell was the lead voice actor, but I go, wait a minute, that's not him. I knew that, so I have no interest in watching this movie. I think it's gonna be. Is it going to be on the theatrical release, or is it going to be like direct
Peacock?
Peacock, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Highland G, you a fan?
to me, I mean, it looks like a spin-off movie. I don't think I ever actually watched the first one through, so I don't really have much to kind of compare it to. But it seemed like a fun concept. I mean, the idea of a somewhat useless head bad guy, Lex Luthor type or whatever, kind of going and trying to become good while the rest of his sort of Sinister Six want him still to be bad. Like, seems like it could be a fun, childish film. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. Yeah. I mean, it might not be the greatest graphics, but it didn't look bad.
The first one was good. I enjoyed the first one. This just left us cold. I didn't even think it was funny. I didn't think that the jokes in it.
It seemed more inspired than what I've said it had at Disney for the last 10 years. So
Yeah. The problem is the first one at least has a character arc where he starts off bad and you have a redemption, the classic redemption arc essentially that comes through. Here we're talking about almost, I'm just going to deceive people and try to secretly be good while pretending to be bad, but at the end of the day, be good still. So shenanigans.
I figured the arc would be that it comes out and he has to fight them.
I presume. Yeah, I'll have to say the trailer lost me. I'll not be. I don't know that I would watch it anyway, but there we go. Did we like this more? Did we like the trailer for Ghostbusters more?
Straight to midnight.
Yeah. What do you guys think of this, and what did you think of the Ghostbusters trailer?
I loved it. I can't wait to see it. I just recently seen the previous movie. And I like how they brought back the originals. I know this movie's been around. The original movie's been around for such a long time, and I'd like when they reinvent themselves, like the Scream, movies. They reinvented it, and I think they're doing the same thing with this. I hope it's a hit, because I'm going to go see it.
Yeah. Rob, you're a big fan, aren't you?
I love the way they handed off, instead of just remaking or just having the old guys just be the old guys still doing the same thing. The fact that the way they transition a handoff to make this connection to the next generation, introduce it, I thought it was done very well. That last movie, it just took me a long time to get to watching it. And when I watched it, I was just, why did I wait so long to see it? Exactly. And this, I'm super excited to see again the growth of these new characters and how this goes, and I'm just filled with optimism for this. I will be in the theater to see this one.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm looking forward to this. Now, I can't remember whether it was on a show or if it was just now a private chat, but Luke, we were talking about the opportunity of a Ghostbusters. Was it me and you talking about Ghostbusters Europe and things like that? Was that me and you, or am I talking to someone else? I can't remember. I was talking to somebody and they'd said that they'd pitched the idea that it would be great to have kind of Ghostbusters across outside of America, so in different countries. And
yeah.
maybe this was kind
Sort
of
of like a
franchise
Batman Incorporated, Ghostbusters
Yeah, exactly.
Incorporated.
Yeah, and it stuck in my mind because I was reading an interview before I came on this. That Dan Aykroyd had been speaking to a reporter because they filmed part of this movie in the UK, and he'd said that he'd fallen in love with Scotland and with different areas of the UK, and he thought it would be a natural progression for the Ghostbusters to have now branched out to a worldwide operation. And I thought
Sure.
that sounds really cool.
Yes,
I like
there's
it.
a lot of.
That's what he linked. That's what he linked it to. He linked it to.
We
a
could
lot
have
of-
we could have the ghost of a dinosaur in Loch Ness.
Yeah.
But like the UK has such a rich kind of lore of like ghosts and everything. There's so many like different hauntings.
Yeah.
In this part of the world. So like I think it'd be a great idea.
I think it would be an interesting one. So yeah,
A lot of
good.
old lore. Yeah.
Looking forward to this one. Now, I have to admit, I don't think I've seen the original, so I have no skin in the game, as they say. But I'm interested to hear people's views. On the remake house. Coked up Connor there. That's nice. Nice to see Connor making his movie debut. Anybody excited about this movie? Or?
The action scenes look fucking awesome. Like the way they're shot, like you feel like the impact of every hit. So like on that side of it, phenomenal. Can't wait to see that. Conor McGregor's awful, like just so bad. I personally, I know he's like somehow become or was for a while like the pride of Ireland. I just never liked him. I think he's a bit of a scumbag, and I'm not really. So that element, and so he's just bad in this. He comes in like doing his shtick, and it's just I don't believe it. Like I don't feel like you're an actual character. So like that part of a bit, like yeah. But I think like it's gonna have some cool action sequences. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I always like seeing.
Yeah,
him, so.
I'm a big fan of Jake. I have to say, I mean, I don't follow boxing, but I'm aware of who Connor is, and I've seen a lot of them on
So,
TikTok.
you don't
and stuff
follow
like
UFC either.
No. And this trailer, he just came across like some kind of weird caricature that had been thrown in there. I thought he was very bizarre. I don't know. Is that him naturally? Is it? Is that how he acts normally?
Yeah, but like it's like he's faking he's doing
exaggerated.
himself. It's weird. It's like in this.
He's a fighter. I mean, he's not an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they always kind of play it up to the camera before the fights and stuff, but it's not really like themselves. It's a persona they're kind of putting on. For me watching it, I kind of had like two halves. Like the first little bit of the movie when I didn't see so many sort of known faces and what have you. I was actually kind of getting into it thinking, oh, is this going like Fight Club vibes? I don't really know where it's going, but maybe this girl's going to start like, give them a back room where they can fight in or something. Like I didn't really know what was going to go on because I said I didn't know the reference to a previous film or anything like that. But as soon as I started seeing fighters' faces, I mean, there must have been about 7 or 8 fighters' faces that I saw kind of pop up that were big fighters. At that point, I was like, I'm not watching this for a story. I'm just watching this for fight scenes. Yeah, like that's the only reason to watch this film.
I think I'm with you, Highland G. I've not seen the original Patrick Swayze movie, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I've not seen the
God.
original.
Roadhouse.
Now this is. I'm going to come to Chris and Rob in a second because you guys have obviously seen it. But this movie is getting a lot of heat and shit with people saying, "Oh, it's a disgrace" and blah 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 and stuff like that. I have to say, even though it looked cack acting wise at the trailer, and with Highland G, I will go and see this because I think this will be like a good battle kind of movie. Switch your brain off, watch people thump each other. Do you know
It's
that
not coming
kind
out in
of thing?
cinemas.
I'm not going to go and see this at the cinema.
It's straight to. I wanted to see this in cinema. It's not coming to cinema. They put Beekeeper instead. Amazon. So.
So Chris, then you obviously have seen the original. You and Rob have seen the original. What
I
did
think
you think?
Rob and I are probably going to be on the same train here. Now, I've seen the original Roadhouse countless times. For those that have seen it, the live band that's in that, the blind kid, that's Jeff Healey from the Jeff Healey Band. It was a Canadian band based out of Toronto. They did a great job in that movie. Yeah, it to me, it's a B movie that has wonderful nostalgic feels to it. Again, I didn't think that this was a movie that needed to be remade. And I forced myself to watch the trailer. The first half of the trailer I thought was fantastic. I'm like, my God, I'm actually really, really enjoying this. And then Conor McGregor showed up in this exaggerated form of just himself. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. But then the fight sequences look great. So I'm excited for it. I like the fact that they borrowed a little bit from the original movie. Like the a young entrepreneur is having problems with violence and that kind of thing, and she needs a cooler, which is basically just the lead of the bouncers and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it that way. But man, you guys need to see Roadhouse. If you haven't seen the first Roadhouse, go see it. You'll understand then Family Guy references that you haven't seen. Why Seth MacFarlane loves this movie so much. Go see it.
That's great. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's a good time. But
even
I
even
didn't wanna
Bigfoot,
like
the
it, but
monster
I
truck,
really
makes an
liked it.
appearance in the original.
Yes.
I
And
mean,
the bear
Sean-
fell on me. Yeah, I know.
Sean's just sold it to us. Swayze ripping a guy's throat out in the original.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
How have I missed this one then? Because this will have been. Is this 80s? Is this late 80s or something?
This
Late
was a
80s, early
classic. 1989. This is a one of those. The reason why he's going to get a lot of grief. Look, this is one of the Patrick Swayze's highly regarded action films that he did, and people with him gone, it really makes it like you're taking a piece that people associate with him, and you better do well by this. And it's not an homage. Instead, it's just going to be a cheap knockoff. Unless I hear Jake Gyllenhaal say "Pain don't hurt," or Sam Elliott makes an appearance, then I don't want.
Sam
wanna
Elliott
care.
died, man.
Right. So you're saying he's not going to make an appearance? Well, how about maybe we have Patrick? Oh no, he's dead. How about Terry Funk? Nope, he's dead.
I will watch this. I have to say, just for the battle. And Efren, are you a fan of this movie? Is this something you've seen?
I've never seen it, but now I want to. So I'm probably going to see it first, the first one for sure. You guys are talking about it, Rob and Chris. So yeah, I'm definitely.
It's not dead.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
So we're clear. Sam Elliott is alive and kicking at 79. Chris.
No, I mean his character in the movie.
Okay. I thought you were talking about.
No, Sam Elliott. Yeah, I know Sam Elliott.
Spoilers, by the way, for Roadhouse, if you haven't seen it.
I'm not going to watch it now.
Don't bother
now.
now.
Pat Best, we need to watch the original
Like,
just for
you guys have
Sam
had
Elliott.
35 years to see it.
I'm gonna add this to the list. This is a one that I'm gonna watch. Speaking of ones I will definitely be watching, Monkey Man. Luke, you asked me to watch the trailer for this. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't go looking for this trailer. This actually came up before I was watching a video on YouTube, and I had the option to skip, and I did not skip. This trailer captivated me all the way through. It looks amazing, very much in the vein of your John Wick movies. Like we've mentioned before, a lot of people are a lot of people are copying that aspect. But yeah, this just looks amazing. Like, I'm all in for it. I really do think that this was an enjoyable trailer. It had great action, a lot of humor, the moment where he's going to jump out the window. I just thought it was great. So I'm really looking forward to this. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Is this a cinema one? Is this one coming out?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the trailer. I'll definitely be seeing it. What about the rest of you guys? Anybody else excited for this one?
I've always liked Dev Patel, so I never would have envisioned him as an action star, but the trailer really sells it. And I like, he's directing it as well, so that's an aspiration of his to do something like this, and I think that's a good kind of mixture. He can come out with something amazing.
Yeah, I'm with Fuzzy. Jordan Peele's kind of a toss of a coin, one way or the other.
He's only a producer.
But when I'm watching this trailer, all I saw was John Wick repeatedly throughout all the fight sequence, everything else. And I'm like, well, if I want to see John Wick film, I'll just go watch John Wick.
Yeah. But this looks a bit.
I don't feel like that's.
Culture.
I don't feel that's exactly a fair. I mean, I get where you're coming from, absolutely, but I think you would compare everything to John Wick now. Like the Beekeeper and like everything else. I feel like that's just the new genre of this type of movie. Whereas I feel like the backstory and the cultural differences and everything else.
But the trailer's highlighting the action because that's what gets asses in seats. But there's a story to this as well.
But the concept of one man takes on 1 billion is just my suspension of disbelief only goes so far.
Oh,
Says
come
the man
on,
with a Batman comic sitting right behind you on the wall.
The latest John Wick was very realistic, Rob. I think you're being unfair. I think he was
the fire shotgun.
falling out of windows, bouncing off cars, falling down the stairs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking 25 minutes to get up a flight of stairs that you only have 2 minutes to get up or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, for me, these kind of movies are literally just switch your brain off and just watch people hit each other. So I'm quite keen. I'm looking forward. It'll be interesting, I think.
I hope that there's some story to go with it that's a little more interesting. And maybe that's the thing, right? I see the action, and great, you're selling it based on action. But when I start to get nervous when a movie shares zero plot and shows nothing but action and is basically trying to sell me on the fact that there's a bunch of fight sequences. Yeah. At least, I'm not saying don't give me away the story, but give me some hints. And so they're telling me know that there's something else there. That's all.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Rob. I hear what you're saying. I think there is a danger, and I guess the Beekeeper's a little bit like that. That it is literally, it's thin on story. Do you know what I mean? Apart from the kind of the wider world elements to it.
I feel like the way they set it up was more based on the lore of the original Monkey Fighter, and that he's sort of a new homage take on that kind of thing. So I don't necessarily think they're going to give him that sort of thicker storyline. They're going to focus more on the fact that he is looking back to the original.
Also, let's not forget.
That's what I think.
Let's not forget that John Wick is the story about a man losing his dog. Like, you start, there's the plot, it carries on as the films go on, but it needs something.
John Wick's also the end of the story. Like, he's already the big bad, whereas in this one, it's kind of this guy's origin.
We'll see. The trailer's got me excited. I will definitely be going to see it. Okay, guys, we're getting near the end of the show now. I just wanted to touch on this before we go. It's been long enough now that the Marvels have been out that we can talk a little bit spoilery. So if you haven't seen it or you haven't heard the spoilers, please disappear now or mute or whatever, because there's a little something I want to talk about. You guys all seen the Marvels?
Yes.
Yeah. I've not seen it, but I don't care. It's fine.
Haven't seen it, but I know everything that you're about to discuss because I've heard it all already.
So obviously there was the big kind of reveal at the end of Marvels, which was the Beast, hurrah. But the one that got me most excited was the superb Nick Fury scene, esque scene with Kamala recruiting Hawkeye or Kate Bishop to join a team, which obviously leads into the Young Avengers, who I am a big fan of. So I'm pretty excited about this. Hopefully this is the way the Marvel Universe is going to kind of push forward. We've already seen many of the characters kind of represented in movie format.
So we knew this was coming down the road at some point.
They've been talking about and hinting at this for a long, long time. So excited to see some of these characters hopefully going to be shown up on screen and fleshed out a little bit. And I guess I just wanted to know what your thoughts were, guys. Are you excited about the idea of Young Avengers? Is that something that would interest you for the next step of Marvel? Efren, what do you think?
I know what scene you're talking about. To me, I thought it was kind of cheesy. I don't know what else they could do, though. They have to bring in new actors or new characters. I don't know. I know everybody's always talked about this, but I just don't think Marvel movies are going to be the same. I just don't have that same enthusiasm. This is just me, my own opinion. I'll still watch them, but it won't grab me like the original Marvel movies did.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Young Avengers?
Yes, I am. I've read them. Yeah, I know who they are. Ms. Marvel wasn't in the Young Avengers at all.
Not the initial team. No, not the initial team.
I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that they're entertaining movies, but I think I don't think they're ever going to reach that high plateau ever again.
Well, the rest of you guys think, anybody keen to see the Young Avengers hit the big screen at some point? Chris?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I see what Marvel's doing. Like, let's be honest. Marvel Studios now is 15 years old. For those that started with it that were 20 years old, they're now 35. They got to set up the next generation of movie ticket buying people that are going to be going out for dates and their first girlfriends, first boyfriends. And I get it. I think the one thing that they're missing from the Young Avengers, the icing on the cake would be Miles Morales. I really think they need a spider character there to try and push forward. I just don't know if Sony's going to allow that to happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't think the Marvels, the movie itself, was all that bad.
No, I
Like
enjoyed
that, a lot of people poo-pooed all over it, and God bless them for it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But right now, what I'm seeing is realizing is that a lot of these new characters are not Generation X characters, and a lot of Generation X is holding their hand up saying, this is not my Marvel. This is, and the thing is, no, it's not. But if you continue to read comic books, you'll know that this is an amalgamation of the Young Avengers and the Champions, and this is what is coming next.
Yeah.
You know, like, sorry, Cap is an old man now. Like, Tony Stark is dead. Like, get over it, right? Like,
I think
here we
you're
are.
absolutely right, Chris. And
Right.
I think, there is a lot of talk of the initial thought was Young Avengers would be the kind of the big lean point because we've seen some of those characters, but the Champions are incredibly popular characters as well. Yes. And that gives you a younger version, an entry level into things like a different version of the Hulk, and people like that. And as you say, Miles Morales is part of that team. So that would be a great inclusion. What about the rest of you guys? Are you excited by a prospect of a new relaunch of younger characters? And if you are, Marvel's got some fabulous younger-based characters out there. Is there anybody in particular you'd like to see hitting the big screen next or taking part in a new franchise of movies?
I don't understand. Well, I'm perfectly understand one element from a money making standpoint of bringing in younger characters, and that's fine. Different characters appeal to different audiences, but I continue to stand by my notion that there's no need to kill off legacy characters.
Oh yeah.
And replace them. You can just recast them. It works perfectly fine. Every time I pick up a comic book and there's a new artist, that character looks slightly different. It's never bothered me once. I can have a new actor step into the role without having to reboot it and just continue on the continuity just fine if you want to do both.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, I agree. There's no need to bump people off at the end of every movie franchise to say this is the line. I mean, I personally, I think one of the nicest endings we've had for an MCU character is Steve Rogers. I loved seeing him with Peggy back in the past, but it still left it open that if you want to bring him back at some point in the future, you've got all those years in between and you can have him come back. There's no need to kill him off,
Anyone can be pulled from any timeline. There's no rules really. They can do whatever they want. For me, like I think going forward, I'm sure I've said this before. Like the things I'm most excited for is the monstery stuff, like the Blade and the Werewolf by Night and all that stuff, and then like the New York crime fighting things. That being said, I love Kamala Khan. I think she's amazing. Like really like on a level approaching like Robert Downey Jr. in terms of like the value she brings to the movie and how much more entertaining it is with her. So like a movie featuring her extensively, I'm stoked for that. I love Kate Bishop and I think they're gonna have a really fun dynamic. So that's excellent. And I love the scene in the movie like as well. I just thought it was really fun, and that was a surprise. We kind of knew everything else that happened in the movie. It was a nice like, oh, I wasn't expecting this,
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't more people talking about it. Everybody focused on the Beast appearance.
Yeah,
but for me it was the other appearance that was even better. The like I say, the fake out Nick Fury scene, which was cool. Okay, anything else anyone wants to chuck into this before we move on?
I just don't want it all to be so connected anymore. Like, I just want to be entertained. I just want simple movies. Like Rob said, like recast if you need to, that's fine as well. But I just want to watch movies where it's not all tied to each other and you don't have to see each film to know what's going on. Right? Just entertain us.
Yeah. Well, I think though a major complaint of the latest movies have been that they feel very disconnected and there's not really what's the end goal here, what's going to happen, like they a lot of them aren't tying into each other. We haven't seen Falcon or Captain America since in like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, I do agree with you, and I think though the thing that's damaging that is because we're expecting there to be a connection. So that's causing damage. Whereas if we knew that there just wasn't, that these were just standalone projects, then you could just enjoy them for what they are. But now we're all sitting there trying to quiz and guess how everything's connected.
I think it's Pandora's box at this stage, though. You can't really go back.
I'm still surprised that probably the best one or the best show, I still think, personal opinion, that they've done in the last few years is Werewolf by Night, which was a completely standalone show. I'm surprised they're not kind of copied that format and given more of that. I guess you could argue Echo was connected to what went before, but that was its own story. You didn't need to know a lot of the backstory for that one.
And the first episode recaps most of
Yeah,
it. Anyway,
yeah,
everything you needed to know anyway. So
yeah, and I think Fuzzy's bang on here. Shang-Chi has been done
not seen
dirty.
him in 3-4 years either. Yeah.
Andy's seen as that not the fun of it, working out how it all connects. I guess different people have different takes from the movies, Andy, and enjoy different elements of it. I like the interconnecting arc. I remember the excitement of that first the first Iron Man movie with the introduction of Nick Fury and thinking, oh my God, we're going to get connection. We're going to get movies linking. But I do agree with Luke. I think we're at the point now where it's kind of, I don't need every movie to be about the multiverse and linked to some 15 different variants or whatever. I kind of hope that at the end of Secret Wars, which is still a little while off, but at the end of Secret Wars, that's the line drawn and we'll get a new iteration, which is either the horror verse, or fresh start with some of these kind of characters, but it isn't hampered by all the multiverse stuff.
Again, they're wanting to sell the name of the Avengers, right? They're trying to ride off of that. It's a bit like what we were talking about with reboots, and this is kind of a soft reboot in that fashion. But they know that the name Avengers will get the bums in the seats at the cinema. That's what they're trying to push for. But like you said, other teams work just as well, like the champions and everything else. And the fact that they're swapping people between teams is upsetting us comic book readers because we're like, well, they're not part of the Avengers or they're not part of this, that, and the other. I can see why they're doing it, but really we should just have those separate movies. Like, make a break from the Avengers, let that be over here, and give us these other teams. And
I don't know if that would work. I think making an amalgamation of Young Avengers and Champions is the route to go. I think it's too much to do kind of two fresh young teams, at once.
I don't know, for me,
stuff.
I think there's two different groups of people that I guess have come into this. Sorry, I was just waiting everybody out a little bit. But my thoughts kind of going into it is I went to see a lot of these movies because I'd read the comics. So not the other way around. I didn't see the movies and then go and check out the comics or whatever else. I'd read most of up until sort of Infinity War style sort of stuff for most of these characters already. So I just wanted to see the characters that I'd read in comics in live action. And by the time I got to Infinity War, I'd had that. I've enjoyed the main characters that I enjoyed. I've seen them all in that kind of format. And to be honest, I was out at that point. I watched, up to Endgame, but I was out at that point. I was just watching individual specific movies about characters that maybe hadn't been done yet, like the Black Panther ones and stuff after the fact. But other than that, I don't really care about the ongoing constant kind of thing, because I read that in my comics. If I want the ongoing intertwining story, that's what I have comic books for. But I do understand that there's other people who are not as comic focused or not as, sort of novel focused, and this is their universe. And for them, they don't want this to end. They want it to keep evolving and evolving.
That is such a valid point. It's like when you listen to Alan Moore talking about the movie adaptations that they've made of his work, and he's like, well, no, I wrote it as a comic book. It should stay a comic book. It doesn't translate. And as much as we still love watching those and seeing them, he is kind of right. And we do get our enjoyment through a different format, through a different way.
Yeah. I mean, it's true for our age. We grew, comic book was first. You go see the movie, you want to see your adaptation, but I can't speak widely, but I know that for my son, when he first started getting into comic books, which led me back into it, it was because the movies, he saw the characters in the movies and now wanted to go read the comic books. So it is a two-way funnel.
Three ways if you count gaming. Because I think a lot of people will come into it, especially with those Spider-Man games at Sony. Yeah. I think a lot of people that'll be their first.
Well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the whole Miles really blowing up was because of that video game initially. So, I mean, it's different medias feed in different ways, and only Marvel knows whether it's economically viable or not for them. But and it all gives us something to bitch and complain about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys, I think we've chatted long enough tonight. Thank you very much. That's been really interesting. Just to kind of quickly touch on some of the stuff that's happening on my channel over the next few nights. I've got a few videos out at the moment. I've got my review of the Present Toys Blade Warrior 1/6 scale action figure. That is stunning. Highland G, you might want to just have a check out of So Toys. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but they've got a fantastic, Red Hood figure. Which is really, really stunning. Yeah, it's stunning. It's really nice made. So well worth a look at that. Myself and Luke did a video about Masters of the Universe characters, so that's live on the channel. Go check that out. And we had the first of my new series of videos called I Can View This All Day, where we looked at Captain America, the movie from the 1990s, which is an interesting movie. It's not awful, James. It's not awful. It's
like
not.
the worst movie I've ever seen.
Interesting is a word.
Save it for the review video. Jeez.
It's not awful, James.
Don't spoil it.
But that is the start of my new series, which I'm doing mainly with James. I Can View This All Day. We've got a whole host of movies, superhero movies to cover.
Nice, the Phantom.
The next one is going
Zane.
to be Dolph Lundgren and Punisher. So looking forward to doing that. We've got a whole host of movies on top of this one. This is just a few that we've got in the pipeline. So really looking forward to doing some of those. Monday night, we've got our Kiki Art Attack show, and we're doing amalgamations. So James and Efren will be bringing a list of characters that they won't be sharing with each other, and then they'll be chucking them at work, and myself and the team will have to draw some bizarre characters. We are going to be joined in that show by, I think he's a superstar, bona fide comic artist Alex Cormack, who's done some phenomenal artwork over the last few months on the show with me. So he'll be joining me and taking part. So can't wait to do that. James, we've got this out at the moment. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, this came out yesterday, so it's to celebrate Valentine's Day coming up. We did and I'll Be Right Back, Valentine 2001. Interesting movie I used to love as a kid, and yeah, I have a fresh perspective on it now anyway.
Yeah, it was it's an interesting review, so go check that out, please. Okie dokie. Rob, what have we got coming out over on your channel, bud?
Monday, there's a mail call. Thursday, I'm unboxing slabs from CGC. Saturday, we get our first Aussie as a guest, waking up at really early in the morning for them. We're going to have Czars is coming on Only Slabs.
Wow, that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, I think it's about 4:30 in the morning his time on Sunday that he's waking up to make the show. So
yeah, that's commitment for you. That's dedication. Efren, what have we got coming up over on your channel?
I've been focusing a lot on shorts recently, and besides being a big comic book fan and all that genre, I'm really into sports a lot. You know, I've been putting a little bit of sports into my YouTube channel shorts also. If you want to see me go through an emotional gambit, next Sunday I'll tape myself during a Super Bowl game. The game on against Green Bay, oh my God, that was a terrible game to watch. Just the highs and lows of that game alone. But
Detroit one was worse.
Yes,
I turned off at halftime. I turned it off and walked away, and then looked at my phone later on. There was 50 seconds left, and the Niners were up. I was like, "What the hell? I got to rewatch the game now."
We're obviously talking about American football, man, but I'm a big time into sports, so I'll definitely on Sunday at about 3:15, 3:30, I'll be watching the Super Bowl. So.
Efren, I love you dearly, so I hope you will appreciate that. I watch all of your videos, and I'll even sit through your football one, but I'll sit through it in pain. All right, but I'll watch it just for you, mate. I'll watch it just for you.
You can always go back and watch it on rewind at high speed.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that, Rob, yeah. Highland G, you got anything coming up on yours, mate?
No, sadly not. I've had a still kind of ongoing roof issues with leaks and stuff going on. Hopefully that should be worked out next week or so, and then I'll kind of get a game plan going forward. But my last video I think was my Christmas pickups. If anyone wants to go back and check that out, but yeah, I don't have anything out since then.
Okay, bud. Okay. Well, hopefully another live show on your channel coming up at some point in the future, because I'm doing one of those for a while.
Hopefully, yeah, I'd like to get back to doing that monthly and kind of get some new people in as well.
Yeah, that'll be good stuff. Luke, what's happening over on Hydra Collectibles?
So I released a video this afternoon about packaging and being let down as a collector. You know, we've seen it before when it comes to action figures and toys, where they've changed the packaging and it kind of, ruins the enjoyability of collecting. So if you can go over there and check out that. Obviously, you and I done that He-Man video about our favorites, and I'm looking forward to doing the second part of that with you later in the week.
Mm-hmm. Should be good.
You guys should bring back Making Sense of Pants. I really enjoy that series.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's still more to come. It's not dead. I do actually have a recording that still needs to go out. I just haven't had a chance to edit it.
Yeah, just saying,
it's still around.
Yeah.
Phil, WrestleMania. That's just pantomime, isn't it? Just men in tights dancing. Chris, what have we got coming up on your channel, mate?
Yesterday, I just dropped the top 10 highest selling graded comic books on eBay, where I take a look back at the week for the highest selling slabs, and then create a top 10 video out of it. Yesterday's video has a lot of Marvels, some DC, some Golden Age, Silver, Copper, some big time first appearances, and the top 2 spots for something I didn't see coming. Every Wednesday, I host Show Us What You Got. It's an open invitation New Comic Book Day hangout for people to come on and show new books that they have from New Comic Book Day or new books that they have for their PC. This Wednesday will be a Comic Army Appreciation Giveaway night where channel members, I will be putting together a big giveaway box for one lucky channel member, and it will be some big news dropped about possible cross-channel collaboration with myself and other people.
What time on Wednesday?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, thank you.
Rob, you're my time dial. What time's that in the UK?
7 Eastern. God, you're making me have to convert back first. It's 4 my time, which means it's 3 noon. No,
12.
that's not right. I'm going the wrong direction now.
No,
I have 11 at night.
11
Okay, I'm off work at the moment, Chris. So if I'm around, I might drop you a message and jump on.
I believe it's at 12 midnight. You got your time.
Okay.
Over there.
Yeah. Fuzzy's saying midnight. Okay.
Yeah. Midnight. Okay. Well, like I say, I'm off at the moment. So if there's a space, I might give you a shout.
Yep. Just reach out to me on IG. I got the link always available.
Good stuff, bud. Okay, look, have I asked everybody? Yes? Marvellous. Just the last thing to mention, I'm obviously part of the Killer Comic Show now, so just to mention we do a whole host of shows. We've got on Mondays, top 10 comic releases of that week. On Wednesdays, we've got Thank Fuck It's Wednesdays, which is the final order cut-offs. And then every Thursday night, there is obviously the Killer Comic Show with comic book reviews, news, and all kinds of stuff. So please come and check out all of those channels and give the show a sub and a follow. And with that, guys, that's your whack. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been great fun tonight. It's been nice seeing you all. I've missed you all dearly. So it's nice to be back on screen with you all. Thank you very much to everybody that's been in the chat. You guys, as ever, have been absolutely phenomenal. And with that, we'll call it a night. So good night, everybody. Thanks very much.